Hi, welcome to Daily Devotions. If you've been joining us online for some of our classes, you know that on Sunday mornings we've been having a class led by Bobby Tomasek on Proverbs, and she's challenged us to read Proverbs every day during this time. And just one proverb jumped out to me, so I thought I would share that with you today. If you want to look it up yourself, it's Proverbs chapter 20, verse 17. So you can look that up. But I'm going to share with you some thoughts on this proverb today. But I have a little something to help out with my illustration, which is just a beautiful, wonderful piece of brioche bread that is waiting for me to eat it. But here is our proverb. Bread gained by deceit is sweet. Bread gained by deceit is sweet. But afterward, the mouth is full of gravel. But afterwards, the mouth is full of gravel. Well, I like that one because it was so visual, but it also has a lot of truth behind it. I don't want to say that I plummet the full depths of this, but it's probably enough to say that it's pretty obvious that sometimes we can be excited at an opportunity to gain the advantage over another person, simply, maybe not even by lying, but simply by withholding enough of the truth that a person will create a false assessment of what we're offering or who we are or what we have to sell. But it says that afterwards, the mouth is full of gravel. You know, I think the self-inflicted part of deceiving others for our own personal gain is that after a while, maybe not even that long, we start to think that maybe that everybody else must be doing the same thing we are. After all, that bread tastes so sweet. Everybody else must be skirting the truth in order to gain an advantage over us. And so everything that everybody else says or does is ultimately self-promotional, that everything everybody else does is simply a version of a lie. And it doesn't take you to go down long that path before you distrust everyone and everything around you. And you start to believe that there is really nothing that is the truth. And our words and our actions, they're only about getting what we can for ourselves. I'm sure we could all think of examples of individuals who have lived out this parable. But today I want to talk about somebody else who's been a kind of a hero to me for a long time. I was in my 20s, and somehow somebody gave me the autobiography written by Mahatma Gandhi. And I'm not sure if you remember this, but he began his life actually as a lawyer, and he was quite successful. But along the way, he changed. And I'm not saying that being a lawyer was bad. I'm just saying along the way, he changed and became the man that we know today. I listen to podcasts, and I'm not sure if you've ever listened to, either on the radio or on a podcast, the show Radio Lab. And they recently had one. And they were looking at how 102 years ago, when the Spanish flu came, how did that change our world? And obviously looking at how might we be changed by this COVID-19. But one of the stories that intrigued me was about Mahatma Gandhi. Prior to the outbreak of the Spanish flu, he was going around the country promoting for young men to join the British Army. And his hope was for an independent or strong India. And he felt that if the folks from India showed their bravery on the field of battle, that they would win the respect of the British, and then they would have their own independence. Well, that didn't happen. And then, not long after the war, the Spanish flu came to Bombay and started to spread across the country. Literally, millions of people died in India because of this. And the people were crushed at how little help they received from Great Britain. It said in the broadcast that Gandhi himself became violently ill. They don't know if it was the Spanish flu. They didn't have a test. But he was sick to death for about 5 months, and he wished that he'd die. But during that time, he also took a deep and painful look at his own life and his own motives and his own people. And he became this man, this radical man of nonviolence, who had this profound belief in the power of seeking and speaking truth. He took this bread from deceit off of his diet. It's hard to imagine in our times that a public figure that rejected lying and didn't have big lobbyists to finance them could stand up against one of the most powerful governments in the world at that time. And yet he did. And yet he did. Because you see, his mouth wasn't full of gravel. He swallowed truth even when it was hard to swallow. And it became something beautiful and strong inside of him. For most of us, we're not going to be on that platform. We're not going to be world-renowned figures. But it's probably good to remember that bread gained by deceit is sweet, and there will be times that you will be tempted to bend the truth to your own advantage. But afterwards, the mouth is full of gravel. So take a bite of honesty. Chew on it. Maybe it's a little hard to swallow, but it will fill you up and it will make you strong.